sit down.
Hello, Youngstown Phantom fans. My name is Sam Olmstead. His name is Justin Irwin. This is the Dump and Chase podcast. Welcome to the season 4 premiere of our little show. Thank you for joining us today on YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and because we're listed on those platforms, about 40 other podcast services I've never heard of before.
Google with delay.
Yeah. And a special hello and Dankeschön to whoever is listening to us in Germany. Thank you for joining in. So Justin, the last time we recorded, you were lying flat on your back most of the show. You seem like you were moving a little better up at Deep Freeze. How is the back these days?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say standing around in the cold didn't really do it any good. But yeah, a lot better. I'm gonna say 90%. So I rest a few more days before the Fall Classic, but we'll be good. We'll play through. Yeah.
So the Phantoms had a couple preseason games this past weekend. I was not able to make the Saturday game because I was inadvertently upsetting Justin by where I went, not even realizing it. I got to go up to Cleveland, up to Jacobs Pavilion at Nautica. Actually, a very nice little place right off the Cuyahoga River. And anytime you're by the river and it's not on fire, it's a good day. Me and my wife went up. We got to see Flogging Molly was the headliner of the tour. Also there was apparently one of Justin's favorite bands that I'm just now finding out about, Violent Femmes.
Not really a favorite, but yeah, a few songs that I really like. Not the ones you hear on the radio.
I mean, I was trying to help you out a little bit because you said you tried to see him years ago and it didn't happen and you haven't got to since. And I was sending you like pictures and I sent you a video.
When I mentioned the xylophone, you're like, hey, here it
here's
is.
A picture. That was a trip, I'll tell you what. Honestly, going into it, I mean, I was going for Flogging Molly. This is a band I had seen a couple times back in my Warped Tour days. My wife really wanted to see them. That was on her bucket list. That was like one of the things we initially bonded over when we were dating. So yeah, Violent Femmes, honestly, I knew Blister in the Sun and that was about it. Like a lot of people, I guess, but number one, didn't realize they've been around for like 40 years.
Thanks.
Yeah. No, but it was a trip because you had one band go up when they were done. They tore all their equipment down and it took them like 20-25 minutes to set up for the next band. The second band, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, went up. They did their set and then they tore all their stuff down. Violent Femmes, they bring out like a guitar stack and a guitar. They bring out like a bass stack and a bass. Just a couple little like standing snares it looked like. And for a second there, I was like, wow, this is going to be a quick turnaround here. That's not much of a setup. Then somebody brings a banjo out. Then somebody brings probably the largest acoustic bass I've ever seen in my life. This thing almost looked like a cello as big as it was. That gets brought out on stage. Then they wheel a xylophone out. Then they wheel a 7-foot-tall bass saxophone out. The bass player had a conch shell sitting on top of his cabinet, which really makes me wonder who in the roadie department is in charge of the conch shell. Does it have its own travel case, like fitted foam on the inside that you have to put the conch shell into?
Yeah, my story is I pretty much missed them back in 94, 95. I was within walking distance of the concert and things just didn't pan out. Mazzy Star was the opening act and really kind of ticked me off having to miss it. But
yeah, see, I missed them in 94, 95 because I was in middle school at the time, I believe.
Yeah, I was within walking distance. A place to drop some names, I'd seen like Beck, L7, Mighty Boss Tones, kind of, little small club back in the mid 90s, and it, missed seeing the Femmes there, and it really,
Yep. So with all that, I was not at the game at Deep Freeze and Boardman on Saturday. That game was a 5-3 win for the Phantoms. So this is going to be all you. You were there to watch it. I was not.
Phantoms came out. I thought they had a pretty decent opening 5 minutes of the game. You know, a lot of pressure, good hustle. Did a couple of bad shifts. Kind of Muskegon got their legs under them, kind of sucked the energy out. Eventually, Muskegon scored the first goal. Phantoms went down 3-0. Stop me if you've heard this before. The good news is this time they didn't fall apart. They pulled it together, tied it up. By the end of the second, ended up winning 5-3. It was a good, effort on their part. The opening wasn't what you hoped for, but you react to that. I think it was a promising sign that, we can shrug off a bad start.
So then moving to the game on Sunday, that game was a 3-1 loss for the Phantoms. Going by your description, the game on Sunday was a lot more of a defensive game. Phantoms were up 1-0. I believe partway through the second period. I could be wrong. There's no box score on this game, so we'll go with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in the midway through the second. Yeah.
Muskegon ties the game up at 1. I want to say early somewhere in the third. Again, with no box score, it's hard to remember.
Yeah, it was like the first minute of the third period.
So the game's tied at 1. The Jacks pick up a goal with about a minute and a half left in the third period. Picked up an empty netter right after that, so the 3-1 score. So yeah, I would say, again, based off your description, others that I talked to, Saturday was more of an offensive showcase.
Definitely.
Kind of seeing what the offense can do. The defense may have been lacking a little bit. Sunday, it seemed like the defense picked up on both sides, and it was much more of a defensive battle you saw on Sunday. So in those two preseason games, we kind of got to see just early on what, where these two aspects of the team are as far as offense and defense.
So, yeah. I mean, we got a good look. It's still preseason, obviously. So, but yeah, it definitely, in my opinion, some improvements over last year, especially North and South game, and just basically overall, we took it to the net a lot better.
Okay, so now that we have the weekend out of the way, how about we take a look at the 2021-22 Youngstown Phantoms? Okay, so we'll take a look. We'll do this a little differently than we've done in the past. Usually we just focus on the players. We'll take a look at the front office, the bench, and all that as well. Obviously, starting off at the top, of course, again, the owners this year, Bruce Zoldan and Murray Gunty. President of Hockey Operations, Keith Primo, former Flyer. We've met him, nice guy, but he was still a former Flyer. Team president, our old friend, Andrew Goldman. Newcomer, senior vice president, Kelsey Morton. And newer friend, I would say, Vice President, Director of Sales, Megan Elishek. Of course, in the broadcast booth, you'll be able to hear him on Hockey TV, on Western Reserve Radio, for all the home games this season. This is his 6th season as the lead broadcaster for the team, Matt Lipsack. Moving on to the general managers, of course, we talked about that in the past. Co-general managers, both in their first year with the Phantoms, Jason Deskins and Ryan Kosecki. Moving on to the bench, the coaches, of course, for the 6th year in a row at the helm, Brad Patterson. He is joined by first-year Phantom coaches Andy Contois and Brandon Gotkin. Bench staff, his 3rd year as equipment manager, broken up over 4 or 5 years, I believe. But his 3rd season with the Phantoms, Evan Watts, the equipment manager. And Joe Zadar, the athletic trainer, entering his 6th season. So now that we go through all those, I think those are names that are at least worth mentioning that we almost never do. But
yeah. A lot of new names, but yeah, a lot of people who have been around for a while and their names need mentioned.
Okay, so the 30-man list that came out, going by what we saw roster-wise this past weekend, this list is going to be more than 25 players. These are the guys who are going to be in the mix that we're going to be seeing in the season, maybe all season, parts of the season. We'll start off with the forwards, and we'll start off with the returners. Of course, starting out, Jaden Grant, Kenta Isagai, Cole Birch, Winter Wallace, Adam Isley. Braden Stannard's on this list. We're not quite sure what his status is. We were under the impression he was going to college. He's on the Phantoms protected list. I don't know if this is, if he is coming back. We haven't seen him so far. This might be a Brett Murray, Jack Malone type case where you're keeping somebody's rights just in case the opportunity presents itself for them to come back. Maybe it's something along those lines. But yeah, for our forwards, those are our returners this year.
Okay, yeah. Solid group. We've traded a few guys, so, it's maybe not as many as other teams have coming back, but it's a good core group and, guys who want to be here.
We've heard that phrase a lot lately.
I was trying to make it through more of this without saying it, but it just kind of came out.
Okay, we have 3 forwards on the roster who came up for the Phantoms, played some affiliate games last season. That is Ocean Wallace, the brother of Winter, Tyler Catalano, who is a big boy, dear Lord. I feel short most of the time. I felt 2 feet tall standing next to him. And Quinn Kennedy. We got to see on Sunday Tyler Catalano throw the fists around a little bit. We saw a couple fights on Sunday. So was it Teddy who said we were going to be more the team? He was betting the team was going to be more disciplined this year. That one's off to a rocky start already.
I see 2 Wallaces on the roster already. So yeah.
This might be a Mighty Ducks Bash Brothers scenario developing here. Okay, and then moving on to the new guys, either players acquired by trade, acquired in the draft, or just appeared out of nowhere. Yeah, so there, Artem Kazakov, Evan Werner, Adam Ingram, Chase Pirtle, Ryan Alexander, Grant Porter. Oh, here we go. Yaroslav Lihaichov, Shane LaChance, another big boy. Holy freaking smoke. They really went for the height this year on some of these kids. Good Lord. Justin Varner, Steven Sardarian, and Morgan Winters. Now, Steven.
Yeah.
I guess we'll figure that out when the pronunciation charts come out. He was somebody we haven't seen a lot. I want to say he's Belarusian, if I'm correct.
I think he's Russian, but
somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's something Eastern European. He's somebody we haven't seen yet, but a lot of people we've seen talk, especially on social media, seem to be dead set that he will be playing for Youngstown this year. So,
and he will be. Then they're pretty dead set that he will be an impact player. So,
yeah,
he's got some pretty interesting numbers in Russian youth hockey, but we will see.
Okay. So as far as the new guys, is there anybody else you want to bring up, or anything else of note you'd want to throw out there?
I thought on Saturday's game, I thought Evan Werner played excellent. Good jump in his step, full 200 feet game. Sunday, I think Muskegon put the body on him a little bit early and took him out. I think he was a little banged up. Let's see. I think Lihaichov, he looked really, really sharp. And let's see, and I think on Sunday's game, Adam Ingram, he scored our only goal, definitely had a lot of jump in his step.
Okay, so we'll jump to the goaltenders next, or apparently I put this a little out of order on my sheet here, so we're going to do the goaltenders next. So kind of interesting because the last couple of seasons, when these lists come out, we see 3 goaltenders listed. That has been going on for a couple of years now. This year, it's back down to 2. Returning from last season, Kyle Chavette, and the new guy, I'm sure about to become the favorite name in Youngstown. And amazingly enough, stick taps to whoever it was that had to sew that name on the back of the jersey and made it fit and not look like a circle surrounding his number, Owen Bartoskevich.
So, yeah, we will call him Bardo.
I guess Bart's is another one.
That works.
But I've practiced enough now I can say Bartoskevich, so it's not that big of a deal for me.
Bartoskevich is not the worst we've ever seen by far.
Bartoskevich played on Saturday. I didn't get to see it. That was more you. Chavette played on Sunday. I will say, Chavette had some rough patches last season. It seemed like at times he was really struggling to find his footing. Based on just what I saw on Sunday, it seems like he found it. He was a lot quicker in the crease. His side-to-side movement was a lot faster and a lot more crisp than we've seen in the past. So definitely, Kyle's been putting in some work in this offseason.
Yeah. He always seemed to be more of a positional guy. This year, he's added some speed to that. So, yeah, he can move and get into position a lot better, and it really showed. Bardo, kind of maybe a rough start. Might have been hung out to dry a little bit. Solid second half of the game. Made a lot of good saves. So, we'll see. I assume Chavette will be the de facto starter, but it would be nice to see, a little friendly competition.
Okay, so the defensemen, we'll round this out with the returners on defense this year. Bayard Hall, Kyle Fury, Carter Rose, and Mike Brown. When a team typically will have 6 to 7 defensemen on average a game, I would think that's a pretty good core four to start with.
I wouldn't argue with you.
We have one player from last season, played some affiliate games for the Phantoms, Mike Rubin. He is listed on the roster this year as a defenseman. And then the new guys, Trey Taylor, Carson Peters, Chris Hedden, Cole Telecki, Nick Williams, and Chase. Ooh, I have not worked on that one yet.
I think it's Piatella, but Piatella, yeah.
So my apologies, Chase. We'll get that right at some point. Again, I brought this up after the draft episode. This has actually been one of the easier year for names, so I'm not going to complain too much. If we're only butchering a couple, that's a really good year for us. Okay, so Justin, from that list, anybody from that list you want to bring up? Chris Hedden, he was the Phantoms' first pick in the Phase 2 draft. We didn't get to see him in tryout camp. He was actually with probably one of the best names in the North American Hockey League, the Shreveport Mudbugs. He was playing for them at the time of tryout camp. They were on their way to winning the, is it the Robertson Cup? The Robertson, yeah, the North American Hockey League equivalent of the Clark Cup. He was on his way to winning a North American Hockey League championship there. So we didn't get to see him in tryout camp. Got to see him Sunday. Well, I did.
Yeah.
I would say well worth the pick.
Yeah. He definitely was one of the stronger defensive players, at least out of the guys we haven't seen before. I thought Cole Telecki looked pretty good, but yeah.
But yeah, like I said, obviously this is more than 25 names. Some of these names are going to disappear by the time the Fall Classic rolls around, but at least it looks like maybe, affiliate games, these are, players we're going to be seeing in the mix, throughout this season. So, and now we're do something else a little different we've never really done before. How about we go ahead and take a look at the promotional nights scheduled for this season? If you go to youngstownphantoms.com, you go to the schedule section, they have, so far what they have for season promos, that's subject to change. Some might get changed, some might get added. If anybody remembers 4 years ago, there was a promo night called Meatball Madness that I think got changed to Library Night, and no one has ever given an explanation for what Meatball Madness Night was supposed to be.
We've used our imaginations.
Nothing's ever good has come of it. So
no, nothing we can share on air.
Okay, so we'll start out. The list we're going to give, this isn't all of them. Again, you can go to the website to see all of them. I just kind of picked some out, some of the more popular ones. Now I'm going to get in trouble for saying that. No, just some I just kind of picked out, but October 30th, that is what they're calling Safe Trick or Treat. That'll be a special one for me and Justin. This year, we're going as Ned Beatty and Gene Hackman, or otherwise known as Otis and Lex Luthor. That's a Superman 2 joke. Look up the picture. It's a very funny joke. Look it up. You'll get it. Actually, you know what? I'll send you a picture that I found. You can pop it up here. November 27th is one that I am tied to for awful reasons. So I make every attempt to get this right every chance I get. November 27th is Hockey Fights Cancer Night. We're just going to blow past that one. January 7th, Sparky's birthday. That's always a good one. You see mascots from all over the area come in. If you have a fidgety 5-year-old like I do, who has trouble sitting still, having a 7-foot giraffe and a bunch of other animals running around the Cavelli Center really helps them to focus.
You know who has to focus is the parent when their kid goes running off and their friend is just standing there laughing.
Thank you for doing that, by the way. That was nice of you. Run 20 feet down the concourse to grab him. Okay, so January 8th is Military Night. January 29th, it seems to be the return of Penguins Night. We haven't seen that in a couple years. Kind of interested in what they're going to do there. Troy Loney's not backing a cargo van up to the pantry of the Civic Arena to pick up some memorabilia to hand out at the game. So
hey, look at these bobbleheads I found by the dumpster where Civic used to be.
I'm looking at a box. I'm looking at a box with a Larry Murphy bobblehead in it right now. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Okay, February 23rd. This is another one. This is a Wednesday game. This is listed as a school day game. Now, typically the school day games usually start 10, 11, somewhere in there in the morning. Right now, the official USHL schedule still has that game listed with a 6:05 start time. So it seems like the plan is to have a school day game, but I don't know if they're going to be doing it during the school day or later in the evening. March 12th, Irish Night. That'll be a fun one for me when I got the results back from my 23andMe. Turns out I've been lied to my entire life, and I'm not nearly as German as I thought I was. Apparently, the most German part of me is my last name. Turns out I'm majority Irish. So now I can celebrate St. Patrick's Day and not just feel like I'm jumping on the Irish bandwagon there.
So trading in your lederhosen for a paddy wagon.
That's right.
We're gonna cut that one out, right?
Nope. And then April 23rd, that is Fan Appreciation Night. That is the last home game of the season. Again, you can check these out on the website, subject to change. Things might be added, things might be taken away, things might be moved around.
Things might be inexplicably renamed.
Meatball Madness to Library Night. No. I know like the Pirates will do like a pierogi night every once in a while, and that makes sense because, you know, Mrs. T's Pierogies, Pittsburgh, that's, you know, they're one and the same in a lot of ways. I didn't know of any meatball Youngstown ties to meatballs enough so that it warranted a night dedicated to the small round delicacies. We're never going to let that go, are we?
No. What? No. Mafia Night was not politically correct?
No. Like, they did election night, 4 or 5 years ago? They did election night, but yet Meatball Madness was, like, the line too far that they had to crawl back on. But I digress. So now, in this episode, leaving the meatballs behind, we have now reached the point while we have waited months for the destination Cranberry, Pennsylvania in the Fall Classic.
Yes. Glad to be back there.
So the Fall Classic will be taking place starting Thursday the 23rd. I believe it goes on for 4 days. The bulk of the USHL games will be on the 23rd and the 24th. Some will be on the 25th and the 26th. As far as the Phantoms are concerned, so Thursday, September 23rd, they will be facing off against Lincoln. That game has an 8:30 p.m. start time. Youngstown will be designated the away team for that game. And then on Friday, September 24th, they will be playing Waterloo at 5:30 p.m. In that game, Youngstown will be designated the home team. Both of these games are at the UPMC Lemieux Complex in Cranberry, both taking place on FedEx Rink 1. Tickets, passes, everything are available now for purchase. Almost by the description, it sounds like it'd be a little bit trickier to try to buy them in person when you show up. So if you're planning on going, which is the nice thing, for once, something being close to Youngstown, there can definitely be a larger turnout. Unfortunately, I will not be there. I will be trying to keep up on hockey TV. That is my oldest son's homecoming weekend. So stuff going on with that. I won't be able to make it. And he will be very happy. This is probably the first time he's ever been mentioned on this show. So hi, Brennan. And hi, Gavin, sibling rivalry. So yeah, you've been chomping at the bit for this. The tickets, the information, everything else finally came on sale. You don't have to chew your arm off anymore.
Yeah, I've been waiting a little bit for this. Yeah, so I will be there all 4 days. I will be there probably most of the games. I'll probably show up early for some of the youth games. Get some drone video. I might even do some live broadcasting.
So that Thursday morning, the 23rd, when you go to leave your house to head to Cranberry, are you going to use the front door, or will there just be a Justin-shaped hole in the wall?
Wait, hold on. You're assuming that I'm not camping out there the night before.
What is it with you and camping?
Some of us actually go outside. If
the good Lord above would have wanted people to camp, he wouldn't have created hotels. That's all I'm saying.
You stayed in hotels with me. That wasn't created by the good Lord above.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, that was a lot of info to get out in one show. I'll tell you what.
We're still pretty good on time.
All right, so how about we play the weird, creepy carousel music and get ourselves out of this? Okay, so our next episode after this will be out after the Fall Classic. We'll be recapping both Phantoms games there, as well as previewing the next weekend, which will be a home-and-home series with the NTDP U17s. The second home in that scenario being the Phantoms home opener at Cavelli on October 2nd. So how about now we'll get some shameless plugs out of the way. As always, you'll be able to find us at the bottom of Section 222 all season long. If you start talking to a tall bearded man with calf muscles that look like they were sculpted by Michelangelo himself, that's Bob. I'm on the other side of that row.
I'm just below. Look for the glare.
And Bob is now dancing around the kitchen that his name has been mentioned. If that's not possible, as I said at the beginning, you can find us on YouTube, on Google and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Be sure to subscribe to whichever service best suits your listening needs, or all of them. We're good either way. Also, don't forget to check out hockeyfan.com. That's PHAN.com. Justin has one of the most in-depth recap and preview articles in the USHL that goes way deeper than we ever do on here. I know with your work, it was a little hit and miss last season.
Yeah, some of those obstacles are out of the way, so it depends. I mean, especially early on, I'm not going to have a lot of information on some of these teams, just the way the league operates. Last year, I'll be honest, it just got kind of tedious with the repetition. There's only so many ways I can break down losing to Muskegon. The preview is even more tedious. So yeah, we'll play it by ear, but hopefully at least at the beginning I'll have some stuff out. Hopefully maybe even a little bit going into the Fall Classic.
And also don't forget my blog, By the Numbers, will be returning at the beginning of November. So if you're a numbers geek like me, this is definitely a blog for you. And of course, also don't forget to follow us on social media. We have a Linktree page now. That'll be in the description of wherever you're listening to this. Going to that has all of our social media links, website links, just all sorts of stuff on there. Basically, your one-stop shop for everything that we do. And last but certainly not least, to all of you, our listeners, I mean, as much as we do this to entertain ourselves, of course, we do it for you. So thank you for sticking with us for this long, going into 4 seasons now. And to any new listeners, welcome. Don't forget to spread the word, tell your friends. Actually, you know what? Make it a goal this season to bring new people to games. People who have never seen the Phantoms or just never been to a hockey game before. In my experience, people I've taken to games that have never been to one before have begged to come back again, they had no clue what it was until they saw it in person, and they wanted to come back for more. So, maybe try that, take a game or two this season, bring somebody new. Then afterwards, tell them about us. Justin, anything else you want to add?
No, I think you covered everything.
Okay, so for Justin Irwin, I'm Sam Olmstead. Thanks for tuning in. The 21-22 season is on deck, and we are up and running. So feel free to insert your favorite rah-rah let's go hockey sentence here.
Sound down, fade to white.
He's going to kill us when he hears that, right?
Ah, crap.